The year is officially halfway over, and if you said this was going to be the year that you finally start your handmade business, but now we're 6 months in and it's still living up here, this video is for you. Now, I'm not here to shame, I'm just here to help. So in this video, I'm giving you a simple 90-day handmade business challenge so that you can go from someday I'm going to start a business to I have products, I know what I'm charging, and I'm ready for people to see what I have created. And no, this is not about building some perfect six-figure business in 90 days. We're just trying to get started building a strong foundation. But before we get into all of that, to all my OGs, welcome back. But if you're new here, I'm Sharmise Idris, and I've been running my handmade bath and body business since 2019. And I also create resources for soap makers and cosmetic makers, plus business tools to help handmade sellers price, plan, and launch with more confidence. And today we're talking about starting your handmade business in 90 days. Now, I know 90 days can sound both long and short at the same time. Like, it's long enough so that you can overthink, but it's also short enough to sweat a little bit. But if you use the 90 days well, you can make a lot of progress. By the end of this challenge, you'll have a product idea, a small starter collection, your basic pricing, your packaging direction, a simple place to sell, and a launch plan. I'm doing this whole thing because I feel like sometimes we research so much, like we get stuck in research mode, and all that research turns into avoidance. So I'm breaking this down into 3 phases. The first 30 days is about building the foundation. The days 31 through 60 is about developing, testing, and pricing. And 61 through 90 are about preparing for your launch. Before we dive in, I want to let you guys know about the companion guide that goes with this video. It's completely free. It's called the Handmade Business Launch Guide. It's down in the description. And I'm trying to keep this video focused and not too long. So the free guide will have some extra setup details and checklists so that you can follow along without having to remember everything or write it down yourself. So check that out. Now let's get into phase 1, which is days 1 through 30. The first 30 days are all about clarity. So this is where you decide what you're selling, who it's for, and then you'll decide what your first small product line will look like. So the first part of this phase is choosing your product category. This is where you decide what kind of handmade business you're actually going to start. So is it skincare, jewelry, art prints, home decor? Like, what is it? And I know a lot of us are multi-passionate, but let's choose one main category for now because we can always expand later. Next, you want to decide who the product is for. Now you may say, Sharmise, I want everybody to buy my product. But no, not everyone is your target audience. Your target audience is the specific type of person who will most likely want, value, or actually pay for what you make. So instead of saying that this is for everyone, think about who is most excited to use your product, gift your product, or come back for more. Once you do that, you want to pick about 3 to 5 starter products. You don't need to start with 25 products because that is a quick way to end up overwhelmed, wasting money on supplies that you may never use again, or continuously reorganizing your space instead of launching your business. So procrastinating, and we don't need to procrastinate anymore. Now, the 3 to 5 products don't have to be totally different products for my people who only make like one type of product. So if you make candles, you don't have to make like wax melts and all that. You can just make 5 different fragrances of the same candle. Now, this next one is where I lose a lot of people, but it cannot be skipped. You want to make sure you research safety, legal, and labeling requirements. This is essential. Every category has rules. Candles have warning requirements. Soap and skincare have labeling laws. Look up what applies to your product type. So like what needs to be on your label. Are there any safety warnings? Are there any ingredient requirements or restrictions? Are there claims that you should avoid? Make sure you know all of that. And side note, don't copy what you see on Etsy. That's really the Wild West when it comes to the requirements being correct. So just look it up from the source and make sure that you have everything you need to have. At this time, you also want to start researching to see what you need to be a legal business in your area. So this could be city, county, state, country. So just start looking that up, even if you're not ready yet, because you do want to be a legal business when you launch. During this phase, you may also want to consider opening a separate bank account for your business. It's best to keep your business money and your personal money separate from the start. So there are plenty of free banks out there, or you can just use your own bank with a business account. So I really like Relay and Blue Vine. Those are the two I use, and I also use Chase because that's where my personal bank account is. Speaking of money, you should also start estimating your startup cost. So we're not doing the product cost just yet. That's going to be in the next phase, but you want to start thinking about how much it costs for your starter supplies, your equipment, a little bit of packaging to test with. You basically want to know if you can afford this right now before you start spending on all the things that you need. Lastly, I want you to set a goal. So by the end of the first 30 days, I want you to have a simple business goal. Now, this could be something like, I want to launch 5 handmade products by October, or I want to open my Etsy shop with 3 candle scents. This simple goal gives you direction for the next 60 days. Now let's move into phase 2. Days 31 through 60 are where we're developing, testing, and pricing. The next 30 days are about turning your idea into actual products and starting your testing process. So during this phase, first we need to focus on making and testing your products. Now, depending on what you make, this may be enough time to finish testing, or it may just be enough time to begin your testing. So if you make something like crochet pieces, jewelry, art prints, like simple home decor, your testing period may be a lot shorter than someone who makes soap, candles, cosmetics, children's products, or anything that needs like cure time, stability testing, burn testing, because candles, yes, preservation, or like safety review. So for those people, this is not where you rush that process. Just take your time with your testing because everything needs to be safe. But for everyone, this is where you start making your samples, your prototypes, or your test batches, depending on what you make. So track what you're doing. Make sure you're tracking your materials, your measurements, the time it takes to make them, the supplies you use, and any little change you make in the process, because trust and believe, you may not remember those little changes you make. After that, you want to start getting feedback from the right people. And I say right people because not everybody needs to be in your product testing group. So you want people who are honest, above all honest, and then people who are closer to your target audience. So sending your cousin who hates candles one of your candles from your line may not be the best option. So here are a couple questions that you may want to ask your testers. Next, you'll start choosing your packaging and labels. They don't have to be fancy, but they do need to be functional, clear, and aligned with your product. You can ask yourself these questions when it comes to labels and packaging. And I have a few videos here on my channel about labels and packaging, so I'll link that playlist for you. Now let's move on to one of the most important things, which is calculating your product cost. Now for each product, you need to know the material cost, the packaging cost, what it costs to make your labels or get them made for you, and then how long it takes for you to make the product so you can pay yourself. And speaking of paying yourself, you also need to figure out how much you want to be paid per hour. And once you know how much your product costs to make, you can start setting your pricing. Now I know it's a lot easier to base your price off of your competitor's price. I know. I did it myself when I first started, which is why I'm telling you that we're not going to do that. I do encourage everyone to check out their niche neighbors, but don't copy their pricing because, true story, you might see someone's price is like $5 for soap, so you price yours at $5 too, but then your soap actually costs $3 in materials. You haven't even done the labels or the packaging or Etsy's cut. So you're not making any money and definitely not paying yourself. So you don't know their numbers. You don't even know if they're actually paying themselves from it or making profit. You only know your numbers, and we want profit from day one. So make sure that your prices make sense for your cost, your labor, of the profit that you want, your positioning, and your customer. And at this point, I feel like I should definitely just do a whole video on pricing because I talk about it so much now. But in the meantime, I created something for you. It's a handmade product pricing calculator, and it will help you figure out your cost per unit. That link will be down in the description if you want to check that out. All right, once you've done everything else, the last thing to do for this phase is to take some basic product photos. You don't need a professional setup. You don't need a professional camera. Your phone, the natural lighting, that's what I'm using right now, and a clear background is all you need. So you want some clean, well-lit photos. Now for the last phase, days 61 through 90, we're preparing to launch. All right, so the final 30 days are about getting everything around your product ready and getting your business in front of people. Now, if you're still testing, that's perfectly fine. Don't rush that part. We can still build around it. So the first thing we want to do for this phase is choose where we're going to sell. So you need to research and decide where people are going to buy from you. This can be Etsy, your own website. You might sell at local markets or fairs. You can do like a pre-order form or a simple landing page or some sort of social media checkout. It just depends on your setup. So for your first launch, I would definitely keep it simple. You don't need to sell everywhere. You need to just be in one clear place where people can find you, and make sure the buying process is as simple as possible. Once you know where you're selling, you'll want to start writing clear product descriptions. Here are some things you may want to add into your descriptions. The clearer you are up front, the fewer confused messages you'll get later. And for introverts like me, we just leave the listing if we're confused instead of messaging. It's too much. Now we've arrived. Now it's time to create your launch plan and execute it. You just need a simple plan, none too crazy. So pick a launch date and then plan what you'll share. So on social media, what you'll share before your launch, during your launch, and after your launch. So here's a quick example if you wanted to launch and share on Instagram. 2 weeks before the launch, start teasing the products. 1 week before the launch, show behind the scenes. A few days before the launch, show the full collection. And the day before the launch, remind people that your products are going live tomorrow. You can even do like a little countdown. And then on launch day, you want to post like it's your job. You want to make sure people know that they can now buy the things that you've been showing them for the past 2 weeks. And then don't forget to continue posting after the launch, because you still want people to be buying your product and you still want them interested. But let's go ahead and move on to the very last thing for this phase, because the launch was not the last thing. The last thing is reviewing what happened with your launch. You want to think about what sold, what questions did people ask, what things confused them, like was it the buying process that confused them, and then what you can do better going forward. That's it. Now let's say you do this. Let's say you actually do this. 90 days from now, here's what you'll have. A clear product idea, a small starter collection that actually exists, pricing that makes sense, clean product photos, a simple place to sell, and a launch date that either happened or is planned. Now, if this all sounds good to you, I want you to mosey on down to the comment section and comment "I'm in," because I'm going to be checking in on you. I'm going to be checking in to make sure you're following through. The only difference between people who have handmade businesses and then the people who keep saying they will have handmade businesses is that one group chose a date, started, and followed through. That's it. That's it. That's the secret. So stop making this a someday thing. Get the guide. You got 90 days. Okay? So go pick your start date. I'll see you in the next one.